Welcome welcome back to my channel. My name is Dawn Tracy, and this is day 6 of the 21-day prayer challenge. Remember, this is a multi-platform challenge, so make sure you're following me on Instagram at Dawn Tracy LPC to see the prayer prompts and the prayer focus there, and then come here to see the videos where we dive into the passage a little bit more and consider how that passage relates to the prompt for the day. So the prayer focus for today is to pray for discernment about where to place your energy this year and to surrender those plans that you might have to God. The prayer focus is from Proverbs 16 verses 1 through 3, but I'm only going to read verse 3 right now. It reads, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plan." So at the start of every year, everyone has their own kind of resolutions and things that they really want to focus on throughout the year. The scripture today, though, goes beyond just what we plan. This verse says, whatever you're doing, commit that to the Lord. Commit your actions to God in such a way that even the things that you do that you feel are not connected directly to your plan for the year, God can still establish it. But to really bring home why this verse is so important, kind of got to look at verses 1 through 2 in this proverb. So verse 1 says, "The plans of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord." Now, at face value, that verse can be a little bit confusing or feel a little confusing. But basically what this verse is saying is that we plan things in the heart, but the manifestation of it, the expression of the plan, the follow through of the plan is the Lord's. So it's showing that there are limitations to our plans and there are limitations to our desires. And where those limitations are begins the sovereignty of God. And so it really is up to God to guide us through and shape these things and manifest these plans and these desires that we have. And then verse 2 says, "All the ways of man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirit." Now this comes right after Solomon is acknowledging that we have the desires, but the power to manifest them is God's. Now he's saying, hey, your desires may not be as good as you think they are because of the nature of man's heart. We can have the purest of plans and intentions, but they're pure in our own eyes. It is the Lord who actually tests and weighs the spirit. It is the Lord who actually knows the true intentions of our heart. And so because of that, bringing in verse 1, what we desire might not necessarily be what God manifests in the present and in the here and now. Why? Because he can see our hearts and he can see our true intentions. And so really what he establishes is the plans that are according to his will, which is why, verse 3, we commit everything that we do unto the Lord, and he will establish our plans. Now, this doesn't mean that everything that you desire or every plan that you have or every idea that you have is wicked. That's not what this means. This is just acknowledging that our heart is deceptive. Jeremiah 17:9 acknowledges that. It says, "The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?" So it's acknowledging that God is the one that knows our heart. Now we have the Spirit of the Lord in us. And so because of that, some of our ideas are sanctified. Some of our ideas are not wicked and they are God ideas. But when we surrender all of our ideas, all of our ambitions and everything that we do to the Lord, he can get in there and flush it out. He gets in there and he cleans it up, and then he begins to guide us and show us how to do things and move in certain ways in which the manifestation of the vision and plans can happen, but they happen according to his will, which is ideal. And what I have found is even our vision of how we want certain things to manifest and how we want our day to go and things like that begins to morph and look more like what God desires. In yesterday's prompt, we talked about being strong and being courageous in the things that God has called you to do and the purpose that the Lord has put on your life. And to me, a natural progression from that is now surrender everything to him. Surrender your plan to him. Be strong, be courageous, like we talked about yesterday, because God is with you. God is going to do the thing that he promised to do. And in that call that he has put on your life, there are going to be vision and ideas and plans. You have a day-to-day life that you have to live. And so then we bring in the proverb, which says, Surrender whatever you do to God. Commit it to the Lord. The Lord weighs the spirit. The answer of the tongue is with the Lord. And so to me, it points again to our confidence being in God. Just as he promised Joshua that he would be with him and that he will make these things happen for him, we hear similarly being spoken by Solomon that the Lord will do these things for you. He will establish it. Committed to him. I think a good way to think about this is when we commit these things to the Lord, it doesn't mean that everything will happen as we want them to happen. So we accept that as we commit these things to God and we surrender our plans to God, we are acknowledging and accepting that not everything will go exactly as we think. But what we trust and what we believe is that God will direct and guide us toward his best. And what will manifest in our lives is God's best for us. And his best is better than any plan that we could gather by ourselves. So as we consider the prompt for today, I want you to take a few moments and write down specific goals that you have for this year. And if you don't know yet, that's okay. Let's focus in on the week. Let's focus in on the month. Now take some time in prayer and commit that to the Lord. Commit those goals and those plans to God. Commit your week, your month, and your year to the Lord. Ask him to lead you in every step. Ask him to guide you and show you which way you're supposed to go in accomplishing these goals. But also give him permission to come in and change the goals up if he need to. Give him permission to come in and rewrite the vision. So open yourself up to it changing at some point between today and the end of the year or the end of the month. And ask him to open your ears to hear his voice throughout this year so that as he gives you clarity on this vision and on these desires, you will hear him. Put these goals that you wrote down, put them somewhere visible so that throughout the year you can add to that list, take away from that list, but also you can watch God manifest this passage in your life that he will establish your plan the year. So that's all I have for you today as we wrap up day 6 of this 21-day prayer challenge. We're almost at the end of week 1 and I'm super excited. I'll see you here tomorrow for day 7 of the 21-day prayer challenge. Same place, same time. Have a blessed day.